welcome to the CRL show. I'm Paul Arandale, Geoff Stevenson. Mate, we had a couple of weeks off. Did you get up to anything on the days off?
Yeah, sort of bounced around a few grounds. I did spend a lot of time watching BarTV and felt like it was a bit of a trip around the countryside this time of year on BarTV, watching all the great grounds from regional New South Wales, being up with games on Andrew Johns Cup and that kind of thing, and Daily Cup. So it's fantastic to watch.
Had a couple of weeks of brilliant weather. Apparently that's about to turn, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the weather stays away, but it doesn't look like it's already raining in Newcastle as we record this.
Yeah, and I look back to a few years prior where there's been damage done and to different grounds and clubhouses and stuff, so look, fingers crossed, we're all thinking of you guys, especially up the coast and into Brisbane, but hopefully everyone's safe and all the infrastructure doesn't get damaged.
Speaking of grounds, I've just thrown this in here. We'll have a couple little shots up for you now. Canberra grounds. And there's something going on, something strange happening down in Canberra this week. First one we've got is New South Wales Rugby League headquarters at Belconnen or Bruce.
Yeah.
It's like there's crop circles or something in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, and like a very high quality new piece of ground, you know, like that. That's not that old a kind of site.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
And then just up the road, probably about 5-10k away at Raiders Belconnen. Not crop circles, but it looks like someone's had a fight with a lawnmower.
Yeah. Is it crickets or something? You know, like we need someone trained in this in the building, you know. But to know what's going on. But yeah, like I said, they're both high quality grounds. It's not like sometimes you do see some of those older or less looked after country grounds. You think, oh, look, something's gone wrong there. But I don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, it's always interesting things happen at local footy grounds.
Yeah.
Weird things we pick
Hopefully
up.
it's not damage being done by people. I thought of, you know, people driving their cars and doing silly stuff like some people choose to do out there on footy grounds and things and cricket grounds from time to time. So I hope it's none of that.
Yeah. And apologies to the greenkeeper. It was the apprentice who just sort of let one of the gauges loose on the cylinder mower or something that hacked it up.
Those greenkeepers, they're pretty loose. Yeah. They're loose folk, those greenkeepers. So you never know what you're going to get.
Anyway, just a couple of weird little things picked up on the weekend. Other things picked up on the weekend, magic moments. Obviously, a lot of great tries, moments in games. Now, we've both got one. Mine was from the Illawarra game against Western Suburbs. Here it is. It's a winning try for the Steelers. Here it is. There's still about 5 minutes to go on the clock, and the fullback just busts straight through. Still had plenty of work to do. Little swerve. It reminds me of Brett Rodwell. For the Steelers.
And just the turn of speed was very like Brett. He was very deceptive with his speed, Brett Rodwell. It was a fantastic try.
Yeah, so that won the Steelers the match. Big celebration, very close affair against the Magpies. Now, when I look watching the game, at Tweedle.
Yeah, when I look for a magic moment, I look for something that potentially is record breaking. I don't know whether this is, but it's one of the quickest tries I've seen off a kickoff. But it's not just that. You know, the way it happens, it's a very impressive try. Yeah, one-on-one strip or drop ball, not over yet. In so. I don't know, did we time that? It was probably like 5 or 6 second try for kickoff. I love it. I love when something left field happens like that. No one would have expected that in the crowd.
Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, I know. They didn't give up, and I think it was maybe the nature of the scoreline. They just said, "Oh, screw it, you know, let's throw the ball around." But it was fantastic. Very magic moment. Yeah,
magic moments we saw. If you saw better, something that caught your eye on the weekend, maybe it was one of your sons or daughters or brother or sister, maybe it was your father. Scoring a hat-trick or scoring 4 or 5 tries or whatever. Let us know, and we'd love to share it either on our socials or on the CRL show next week. But a few magic moments. Anyway, rambling on, let's get into some results on the weekend. We'll kick things off. It was the Fiola Cup Regional Round 4. Western Rams 20-6 over the Northern Rivers. Northern Tigers went down to North Coast Bulldogs 30-12. And Riverina Bulls had a big win, 44-0 over Monaro.
Yeah, Lisa Fiola Cup was in the round 5. Parramatta defeated Cronulla 20-6. Penrith were comfortable against Norths 28-0. Canterbury convincing against Manly 44-8. West Tigers towed up St George 54-0. 18-0 win for Newcastle against Illawarra, and Central Coast 84-6 against Souths, with Canberra getting the bye this week.
Yeah, big result there.
Yeah,
The Central Coast Roosters. Tarsha Gale Cup round 5. Penrith 26, North 16. Canterbury 24-14 over Manly. Cronulla 36-14 over Parramatta. West Tigers 10-4 over the Dragons. Illawarra 26-4 over Newcastle. And the Indigenous Academy 46-6 over Souths, with the Raiders having the bye.
Into the Women's Country Champs round 2 last weekend as well. And North Coast won against the Northern Tigers, I guess the Derby game, 30 points to 8. And Monaro, another kind of Derby game, 54-0 against Riverina.
Yeah, I say Monaro.
Like
the car.
I know. I say Monaro like the political seat.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's down that way.
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
Is that where the seat is?
I think.
Not very good on
I think so, and I think they say it different. So I don't know. We need correspondence from our viewers.
Yeah. Johns Cup round 4. The Northern Tigers in North Coast 16-all draw. Northern Rivers 22-12 over Central Coast. South Coast 36-0 over Newcastle Maitland region. Monaro 32-14 over Riverina, and the Western Rams 32-42 went down to West Tigers. So a lot of points scored in that.
Yeah, a lot of points scored. And now looking at the Daily Cup round 4, again, a lot of points in this round this weekend. North Coast defeated Northern Tigers 40 points to 14. Central Coast defeated Northern Rivers 26-22. It was a good game. Newcastle Maitland beat South Coast 26 points to 20. Monaro beat Riverina 58 points to 6. And the West Tigers beat Western 30 points to 26.
All right, Harold Matts, round 5. Manly had a good win, 24-12 over Souths. Newcastle 24-20 over Sydney. Central Coast 36-6 over Balmain. St George 20-16 over Canterbury. Illawarra 16-12 over West. We just showed you that winning try moments ago.
Fantastic.
Parramatta 38-10 over Penrith. Warriors 20-8 over Melbourne. North's Raiders and the Sharks, they had the bye.
And SG Ball round 5 wrapped up with South defeating Balmain 52 points to 4. Newcastle winning against Sydney 38-32. Canterbury and St George 28-all draw. Canberra 32 points to 16 against Manly. Parramatta defeating Penrith 30 points to 22. West beating Illawarra 32-14. Melbourne defeating the Warriors 38 points to 16. And Cronulla defeating North 46 points to 10.
Yeah, some good vision on the weekend. Hope you're enjoying the coverage that BarTV's bringing you every week. Hope you're enjoying the CRL show too. We might come back next week.
Yeah. And it's been great to have regular footy on the weekend already. You know, for a lot of people who've been waiting and waiting, especially if you're waiting for some regional comps to kick off. It's great to have it this time of year.
Yeah. Well, there were the results. We've picked out 5 of the best tries that we thought were pretty damn good. Here are our CRL show tries of the week. First up, we've got Kiana Munro, fullback for the West Tigers.
Fa'aui. Here goes Tautalafua. Inside ball now to Fa'aui. She flips it out the back here to Tui. Beautiful pass here to Munro. Look at this by the Tigers. Munro sizzling stuff. Oh, unbelievable try. They keep the ball alive and Munro scores.
Second one, we're Western Rams against West Tigers again. Through the hands here, not much happening here, but then the Cooper Bright here, he's got 4 on him almost.
Yeah.
Flicks it out the back for Zay Burns to score in the corner.
And Zay Burns was waiting. He was ready to go. Good on him.
We've got Riley Laverty here at North Coast. Just a lovely little run around from the 5'8" to pretty much go across untouched. Nice ball.
Yeah, love the dive.
Then the throw. Try 4, Ruby Douglas of the Riverina Bulls.
Out of dummy half, good scoop, Diversi. She pops it up, finds Hoey. Hoey, can she keep it alive? She does indeed. Tikanawa Hawper. They're going to go down. Oh, once again, Douglas. Douglas puts the kick through for herself. Bounces kind and grabs a double. Ruby Douglas, she did it all on her own.
And try 5, Cooper Johnston, SG Ball, Canberra Raiders.
Here's Darmody. Darmody puts this one to the sky. Raiders players, everyone lets it bounce in the end. Darmody puts it on the boot. Needs a good bounce here. Is it going to sit up for him? It is. That is ridiculous.
That was a cracker. And actually the kick, it had a soccer-esque feel to it, the way he kind of did that side kick. Even if it went out, I would have been like, hey, nice to have a crack at that. You might as well just kick it again if the ball bounces. But for it to just sit up, perfect. And for the chase, it was just that was a fantastic try.
I mean, the skill of some of these young guys, we don't want to talk them up too much, but I mean, it's one, to get the kick and to chase through, but just even to think about, I'm going to have a crack here.
Yeah, and like I've been saying it for weeks now, that's the 49th minute. There'd be plenty of adults would be completely gassed by that time of the game, this time of year. No matter where you are, even if it's not hot at the moment, it's humid.
Yeah.
And it will completely knock you out if you run around for more than, for me, run around for more than 28 seconds. But for any person would struggle to have that energy to chase a kick like that, let alone after 49 minutes playing in heat and humidity. So fantastic.
Yeah, and shout out to all the commentators. That last clip we showed, Jack Wunsch, he was making his rugby league debut on the weekend. So well done, Jack.
Sounds like you've been doing it for years. So the way you called that is fantastic.
All right, so we've done the results, the tries. We may as well head into our Around the Group segment.
Yeah, and there's a bit of there's a bit to talk about, so it's hard to know where to start. I guess I'll start with one of my favourite times of year, which is the West Wyalong Knockout was wrapped up on the weekend. Yep. Sounds like it was an absolute success. They had a cracker of a weekend down there. South City from Wagga ended up taking the chocolates. They defeated Parks 14 points to 6 in the final. I think they had to defeat the Hay Magpies in the semi-final. It's a great format because the Friday night they basically do one round.
Yeah.
So you can have that big Friday night footy. I think it's like 4 games on Friday night. I think the last game kicks off at 10 o'clock or something. Yeah. So, and then everyone gets up the next morning, and the ones that are still in kind of then go and play each other, and then it's all game over kind of thing. Like I said, it's a 50-second knockout, West Wyalong Knockout. It still blows me away. Yeah. I still can't think of a comp like a comp like that where they've just been cobbled together 52 years ago. I still can't believe there's that many out there that have been going that long. So full credit to them. I think it's the time of year, speaking of politics, it's the time of year where people are either hassling politicians for funding for improvements to sporting infrastructure or there's politicians cutting ribbons. Yeah, because we're heading to an election. We're heading to a federal election, and if you look around, there's some great stuff being done. Probably on the promise from the last election. These are things that are being built. They usually like to have them finished, I think, the 6 months before the election, so they can do the cut and that kind of stuff. First of all, Oberon Tigers, which I think is really good. They're halfway through construction a new sporting complex. You can see there, it's going to be a nice little piece of infrastructure for Oberon. It's sort of like, it looks like it was a greenfield site. They didn't really have anything there beforehand, so it's going to be a great boon for the Tigers and for a bunch of other teams live in the Oberon area. Woden Valley Rams. Now they're looking like they're the more shots of it on screen there now. Their clubhouse is going to be quite significant. It looks like it's a really good setup. The problem they have, and something I hadn't thought of before, the government will say, we'll build this fantastic clubhouse, and there you go. And Woden Valley's sort of saying, we don't have anything to put in it. So, well, not just that, like chairs, tables, cabinets, all that stuff. And you go, oh, yeah, I guess that'd be a problem. Like you then have to start hassling people about, can we get some donations? So that's kind of what they're doing. They've got a good way of doing it. If you go onto their Facebook page, they've actually got a little counter and they're trying to get $60,000 to raise enough money for all of the stuff you need to have a decent clubhouse that isn't just empty rooms, which is going to be when they're finished. So if you want to donate, get on the website. Like there are a few donations I see from plumbing places and stuff. And I wonder if there's a bit of in-kind stuff you could offer them as well. If you're a company that does fit out places, you can say, look, we'll volunteer to help you, put things together or that kind of stuff. So that's worth doing, but it's good to see. I always love the idea of this new stuff because, you like you say, you get the money from politicians and then eventually they build it. And
didn't they win the comp a couple of years ago? Maybe there's a trophy mob out there who could build a replica of the Canberra Raiders Cup.
Yeah. Well, they said they need trophy cabinets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's nice to have that problem. We say I need trophy cabinets for my trophy. So I was going to talk about Jared Mullen. That's probably one of the biggest signings in the Newcastle Rugby League. was going to be this year. There was a fair few good signings this year, but probably a bit of profile there.
Yeah.
And he has since said doesn't want to play for Macquarie Scorpions, who he'd signed with, and is off to the Port City Sharks. So
Port City Breakers?
Breakers.
Yeah.
Port City Breakers, sorry. Not
Well, he might end up there.
Yeah, you never know.
And go to a different club again.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'd say that Macquarie wouldn't be very happy with what's happened. I kind of look at it in another way too. That Group 3 generally doesn't get. This is very rarely happens this way around.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare that you would hear of a high-profile player moving up that way, away from what would be deemed a stronger competition. So hopefully he does well up there for them. He played last year for Corrimal. I watched him play one reserve grade game, potentially, and I didn't see any of him. He didn't seem to appear anywhere else in the lineup. I don't know whether he played first grade at all last year for Corrimal.
Might have had a couple of games at least.
Yeah.
But, on the wrong end of the scoreboard a lot, the Cougars.
Yeah, so anyway, that's just one to look at and how that develops. But I feel for Macquarie in that now it's very late in the year. What do? You know, if they really had ambition to sign a marquee player, they've kind of run out of time now, and that's probably left them in the lurch a bit.
I mean, I guess the good thing out there, they've got Luke Walsh already. Andy Sumner's come back, premiership winning halfback for them. So
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I think they'll just play on and stuff. But it must be frustrating when you probably allocated a bit of money for a player.
Yeah.
I think, geez, if we'd known that 6 months ago, we could have thought about spending that somewhere else. But good and bad news about clubs coming and going in competitions.
Yeah.
I'll start with the good news. Deniliquin Blue Heelers.
They're back.
They're back after so many years. What would it be? 48 years. They are back in the Proten Cup this year. They were last in a comp in 1977, probably in some West Riverina comp. So that's great, and the Proten Cup keeps going from strength to strength. It's they like the idea. They were saying that it's a condensed comp, so a lot of the players who may not have made themselves available for a full season are happy to go Pro 10 because Pro 10's like a 6-7 week competition. Yeah. So I love those community comps because it does get teams together that may not have formed because the players, quite rightly, a lot of people have a lot of things on in their lives at the moment. So it's hard for them to kind of give up the time. Team that's lost, the Narrabri Blues, sadly, are out of the Group 4 for this year.
Oh, that's a shame,
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a usual deal. So it's one of those ones you hope is temporary because it was just a player numbers thing. They decided, but they thought 28 signed players would be enough to get through a season. And they said, as of a few weeks ago when they had to make the decision, they only had 12 players commit.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not like it's one where you think, well, it's easily fixable. You're really short on players, and when there's player shortages, there's not much you can do. I think you can't really. Players aren't prepared to play, or they've got other things on, or they've retired, or whatever. That's so be it, sort of thing. So
because I think we will come back last year or the year before.
Yeah.
So maybe they've pulled a few, which unfortunately happens too.
Yeah, that's true, and you can't avoid that. Well, you can try to keep your players happy, but really, it's just it seems to be happened for decades in the country and will continue to happen, sort of thing. Props to the Ivanhoe Roosters. I just like talking about them. They're not quite my Snow River Bears of modern times, but they trained the other day in 38-degree temperature.
Yeah.
There was footage and photos that I'll put up there of them training, not cancelling training in 38 degrees. I don't know whether that's a OHS thing, but I'm always like, geez, guys, it's a pretty hot, dry, dusty place out there, and then it's super hot like that. They keep training, which is fantastic. There were some internationals on the weekend which actually had some reps in Vegas. There was some internationals in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas! This is our Vegas section of the CRL show today, or part of it, where the Greek women played the USA women and the Greek men played the USA men. The Greek women had a couple of players from, Ella Panagiopoulos was from the Belconnen Sharks, and Lisa Paloukas. Paloukas, sorry, I got that right the first time. I'm sorry, I tried so hard. I spent so much time from West Belconnen, and Nicola Mundy from Brisbane North. So it's not so much they represented their country and are from regional New South Wales, but also Imagine being told, "Oh, and the game's in Vegas. It's on the weekend of the NRL Vegas thing, so you probably get to go to that as well." I think good on them for they've probably put their hand up for Greece previously. They might have paid their way. I'd say they would have paid their way there and stuff like that. But what an experience it must have been. I watched most of the game, and it was a pretty the Greeks won 46-0 in the women's game, and there were some big hits and good tries and stuff like that.
It was supposed to be played night time originally, is that right?
Yes. So there was meant to be the Greek men played as well later, and it was going to be a evening into night game a couple of days prior. And in a very rugby league move, thieves had stolen the copper wire that connected the lights to each other or to the power or whatever. I don't know when. Like, I don't know. They must have, they rock up and these guys with like, not bags, but not with like dollar signs on them, but with a little copper symbol on them running away, or whether it happened, it must have been late enough notice that they went, oh, why aren't the lights working? We can't run this game. But mercifully, they did play it a couple of days later. And there were, in the Greek men's team, there were a couple. There was Nick Talatu from South Newcastle. Are you familiar? You might be lower grades or a young guy. Johnny Miska from Young, and Miles Gow from Bundaberg Brothers, and Nick Flores from Carina represented the Greeks. Same thing. Actually, I don't know whether it was Johnny Mitsia's young teammates that were going to go anyway to Vegas, but then they did Vegas. If you have a look on the socials, there was a lot of young cherry picker photos and cherry picker jerseys in the stadium and all this kind of stuff. So it was a fantastic weekend had by all, really. But yeah, good on those. I love seeing rural regional players representing their countries from in various ways, and that was great for them.
Yeah, well done.
Apart from that, I've got actually probably the last thing we talk about these, like the West Wyalong Knockout's pretty serious. A lot of prize money. I think it's $30,000 it was in the end that was dished out and stuff. Yeah. There's a sort of probably a lesser intense one that Bathurst Panthers are running in a couple of weeks' time at Carrington Park. So this is for teams. I don't know whether they've secured all the teams they need, but if you're a fan, it'll be a cracker of a weekend. I love Carrington Park. It's one of the great grounds in regional New South Wales. $7,000 prize money for the first grade, but they also are running a reserve grade knockout, which is a great idea as well. Yeah. So they get $3,500 of prize money divvied up. First grade registration costs $500 a team, and reserve grade $250 a team. So this is sort of like lower level. You could imagine that if you're a club that doesn't have a lot of money to kick around, you might want to pack your swags, pay the rego and rock the band.
I was just thinking of a lot of the Newcastle Hunters second division clubs. Yeah, good little road trip, bonding trip.
Oh, fantastic!
Reserve grade comp is probably up to your standard.
Yeah, 14th and 15th of March, and that's right. They say the reserve grade comp might be one for the teams that think, oh look, we don't go on these knockouts because we're worried about getting towed up by a really good team. It's like, well, everyone's sort of on the same level, and Bathurst is pretty central to a lot of places. So. Well, I'll fill you in on the details of how that went or how it's going to go, but that is on the 14th, 15th of March, so it's a couple of weeks away.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's round the groups for now, for me.
All right. Right, that's you around the groups, no more.
Done, none.
You sure?
Oh, wait. Late news.
Late mails has come in. We've got a Snowy River
It's
Bear.
a Snowy River Bear story.
Snowy River Bear story.
I almost missed it. Yeah. I was going to talk about how they're having a Friday comp for their juniors, but much more interesting than that is that there was Snowy River representation at Vegas. Yeah, so the club president, club chairman, Jason, club president, was there on site, got some photos there you can see. I think that's even, when we're doing this Vegas stuff, everyone gets a little bit, because people are wearing Cronulla jerseys in Vegas. I think we need to do this more. Yes. So good on the young cherry pickers and Jason and stuff for putting on their I think I saw a Mudgee jersey as well somewhere in the crowd. Anyway, fantastic. Snowy River Bears go from being at nothing to no one, and they're in Vegas, baby. It's fantastic.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how many people walked up and just what would be the proportion of people in Vegas who would have recognised the Snowy River Bears? Would it be the rarest jersey in Vegas at the time?
I think this is another lifetime. I went to a Challenge Cup final in Cardiff, Wales. 2004 or 5, whatever it was. All I remember is hop off the bus, all the pubs are full.
Yeah.
And there's so many, like the crowd with different jerseys on here. What jersey is that? Oh, it's a Glendale Gorilla jersey.
It's like
there's an
red.
Ivanhoe Roosters jersey. It's I guess going to Vegas it'll be the same thing. There'll be all these,
I think it's fantastic. It's really good. It might get some of those influencers over there interested, like Shay Mitchell that we talked about a few weeks ago. I don't know whether she was at the game, but maybe she was watching the CRL show to see if there's any coverage of regional rugby league.
Yeah, maybe. Was there a Darlington Point Roosters jersey there?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's it. Late mail done.
Mail done.
Yep.
All right. We'll move into fixtures this weekend. There's plenty of stuff happening on BarTV. We kick off with the men's country championships round 2. They had the qualifiers a fortnight ago, but this weekend we've got Newcastle v Central Coast, big rivals when it comes to country championships. The Rebels at home at Lakeside up there at Raymond Terrace. So there's plenty of games, 2 fields. You've got the Johns Daily Cup games as well, Lisa Fiola, Tasha Gale. There's plenty of rugby league happening at Lakeside, so head up to Raymond Terrace and you can take your pick of what you want to watch. We also got Monaro, they're hosting Illawarra South Coast. And Riverina v Western Rams on the Sunday. That's at Paramore Park at the back of McDonald's Park at Wagga. So not too sure if the main ground's not able to be used at the moment. Maybe someone stole copper or something from the ground. Who knows?
No,
Paramore, which is the ground at the back.
Certain that there won't be cyclonic conditions in Wagga. At least that's something. Now onto the women's covering champs. They're in the round 3 this weekend. The Riverina play Western on Sunday.
Where are we going? Lisa Fiola regional round 5, Riverina and Western Rams on Sunday at Paramore.
Beautiful. Lisa Fiola Cup Metro round 6. Manly are up against Norths. Para are playing Penrith. Canterbury are playing Souths. Illawarra against Cronulla. Newcastle play against St George. Central Coast are up against Canberra, and West Tigers have the bye.
Tasha Gale Cup round 6. Manly. They're at home to Norths. Canterbury host Souths, Parramatta and Penrith. Illawarra and Cronulla do battle. Newcastle host St George, and the Indigenous Academy take on Canberra, and West Tigers have the bye.
And the Harold Mats round 6 getting serious now. Cronulla play Sydney. Central Coast are up against Canterbury. Souths play Norths. Melbourne are up against Penrith. Newcastle play Manly. Illawarra against St George. Parramatta play Canberra, and West play the Warriors, with Balmain having the bye.
All right, a couple more to go. We're getting through them. SG Ball round 6. Cronulla at home to Sydney Roosters. Balmain and Canterbury do battle. You got South v North, Melbourne v Penrith, Newcastle v West, Illawarra v St George, Parramatta and Canberra, and Western Suburbs Magpies against the New Zealand Warriors.
Yeah, so now we've got finally the Jersey Flag kicking off this weekend. In round 1, St George play Canterbury, Penrith host Cronulla, the Tigers are up against Newcastle at home, Canberra host the Warriors, the Silktails play Parramatta, Manly are up against Souths, and Sydney play Melbourne on Sunday.
All right, and finally, round 1 of the Knock-On Effect New South Wales Cup kicks off this weekend. Now,
fantastic.
We're going to go through the fixtures for you, but I might put you on the spot. We may as well put some tips out there.
Yeah.
Put them out there and see how we go.
Yeah.
So here are the games. Penrith host Newtown. This one's at Parker Street Oval. Western Suburbs host Newcastle at Lidcombe. Canberra and the Warriors do battle. That one's at Leichhardt Oval, believe it or not.
Yeah.
St George and the Dragons, they are at Netstrata. And Manly the Souths at 4 Pines, and on Sunday, Sydney Roosters host the North Sydney Bears, I should say, on Sunday at Wentworth Park. Parramatta have the bye. So, just quickly going through them. Tips.
I think, what I find will be the most compelling game will be the Penrith Newtown game. They both have their first grade teams have been over in Vegas, so they've been a bit. Often with the Knock-On Effect Cup, they're probably often those teams are working with the first grade team. They've been in a little bit of a bubble for the past couple of weeks, probably the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
While their first grade team go and do their thing, I don't know who that's going to advantage. I don't know whether players will drop back from that first grade encounter as well. So they would have had a few players.
That's an interesting one. If you play the week before, you get dropped.
Yeah.
Go back and, anyway,
Yeah, because
the
the NRL first grade they're kind of getting this bye because they've had to come back from America, but there'll be fringe players in that Penrith team I can think of that will probably they might want a game or they might not make themselves available. The club might not make them available. I don't know. So, but that'll be a cracker of a clash. I think they're going to be two contenders this year. Other games, like I think Manly are looking pretty good this time of year. It's often you look at. It's a funny thing, the knock-on effect cup. How the health of your squad is often dependent on the health of the first grade NRL squad, and I think Manly at the moment are looking good in that regard. So they've got a pretty good solid depth into the knock-on effect squad, and there's not a lot of injuries around Manly at the moment, so they're looking pretty good. The Knights. They always look good. I'm always a bit of a Knights fan, so but that'll be a good clash. Again, West had a few players come and go in the off season, so I'll be interested to see how that develops. Apart from that, it's going to be a pretty close competition this year. Yeah,
it's going to be exciting. Especially I'm looking forward to the Roosters game v Norths on Sunday at Wenty Park. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, they're not kicking off next week, but we've got Sydney Shield and Ron Massey. We'll see the Glebe Dirty Reds. First time we'll get to see them on BarTV.
At Wenty Park. Yeah. I've always put it out there. I don't know, don't like the chances, but sorry.
We're
getting emotional about this. About them running a dog race, like at Dapto as well, running a dog race during the footy. And I just think it'd be a great idea. I've been talking about this for about 2 decades, that you could just, at half time, run a couple of dog races, right? Okay, back on the field, run one at, 20 minutes in, and you just, perfect world. You having a little punt, watching the game.
Scenario, it's penalty to Glebe.
Yeah.
Kick for touch. There's a race going. The ball boy has to run onto the track to get the ball while the race is coming. Do you hold it or just, mate? That's your job.
I thought of another scenario where they kick the ball onto the track and all the dogs go, a ball. And then suddenly, very angry punters going, oh, you had that leader at the time and then someone kicked a bloody ball on the track. But
it opens up a new form of betting, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
How many minutes into the game till the Greys jump the fence? But anyway, something to think about.
And really, all jokes aside, it's one of the original grounds of rugby league in Australia. Yeah. Like it was there, they were playing games there before the dogs even arrived. So it's great to have some footy there.
Yeah. No. So the knock-on effect cup kicking off round 1 this weekend. Looking forward. It's all games on BarTV Sports.
Yeah.
Should be an absolute ripper.
Yeah. Actually, the other effect of some of these, there are a lot of Penrith players that, I'm just thinking of Penrith, but Penrith Newtown, that got a bit of a run while their NRL team was in Vegas in that last trial. Yeah. First grade trial as well. So it's almost like they've had a really decent hit out leading into the season. So anyway, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. All right, we've talked enough about rugby league in New South Wales. We'll quickly touch on stuff that's happening north of the border in Queensland. Last week we covered the Development Cup up in Ipswich. 14s to play a round robin, round 2 up there. So go to BarTV. There's Ipswich Metro, Ipswich City, Ipswich Country, and South Burnett Eagles. But also Gold Coast, they haven't released their draw yet. Still finalising teams. That's the same with the Sunshine Coast. BRL, there's been mega changes, say, up there. Don't like using the word restructure, but I've just used it, so apologies. But basically, it was a 10-team comp last year, and 3 teams are gone. Normanby Greyhounds, Bulimba Valley Bulldogs, and the Brighton Roosters. They've gone. Basically, all the clubs had opportunity to apply. Brighton Roosters pulled out because they're affiliated with Redcliffe Dolphins. Yeah. So they're like, well, we only need 1 team at the top grade.
Yeah.
Normanby and Bulimba decided not to apply again. Yeah. So they've gone back. So it's now effectively a 7-team comp. The Magpies were known as South's Juniors Magpies. I think I've got that right. Anyway, they're now South's Logan's Magpies.
Right, yeah.
Wynnum Manly Juniors are now known as Wynnum Seagulls.
Right.
But in reserve grade, they're still South's Juniors and Wynnum Juniors.
Right.
Bean Lee, Pride, and now Logan Pride. So we've got South Logan and
Right.
Logan Pride.
Right.
Carina Juniors are still the same, and Valleys are still the same.
Yeah.
Redcliffe's still the same. So, but a few changes, just mainly to do with the names and reapplying and all that stuff. So interesting times at BRL.
Yeah.
I thought they were looking at going back to the old BRL structure where you had north, south, west, south, and brothers, valleys perhaps, but not yet. Maybe that's a plan. We hope to get a couple of experts from the BRL on next week's show. So.
Yeah, and it's a bit like Gold Coast A grade, where there's an overlapping between Gold Coast A grade and Northern Rivers Regional Rugby League teams, and QRL teams, all that kind of stuff. And it's the same with the Brisbane comp, obviously, that there's some QRL teams in there that are hosting BRL teams as well. Yeah, so which is not a bad thing, you know. Like it kind of makes the club stronger.
I mean, at Carina, they're still there. That'd be your favourite team for many reasons, because their leagues club is the old Crushers Leagues club.
Oh, yes. And is it Shane Webke, a Carina Junior, I think? Could be. I don't know. Yeah. Whenever I think of Carina, I think of him, and I think that's the next statue they need to look at the Shane Webke statue. Yeah. Or maybe I'm thinking of Serena. So
it could be Serena.
Serena Carina, but that would be fun. I hope. Is there any Crusher-esque? They should. It's like retro jerseys. They should do like a retro leagues club where they just say
retro.
It's like a themed leagues club where you say we're just going to do the Crushers League Club from now on. But it's a good competition up there, and like I say, I know you don't like the word pathways, but by the sounds of it, those connections with the next rung of rugby league means there is that pathway there in the Brisbane competition.
Yeah, so we'll keep you posted. As I said, we're happy to get a couple of guests on the show next week to explain all things South East Queensland Rugby League.
Yeah, sounds good.
We've got big hits.
Big hits.
We almost forgot them again.
Yes.
They are big hits of the week. All right, the first one's Talea Hidaraka of Monaro.
Start again. Attacking the footy.
Geez,
did
off
well.
a kick-off.
Really did attack the footy. Said, get out of me. One, two. Hidaraka.
I love when the hittee just gets up.
And one of them in there is...
Second one, we've got Mequin Logan of Souths.
Oh, that's a solid shot there on Barrett. I think that was Mequin Logan.
Wrapped up the ball as
just
well.
Gone bang.
Here we go, Luke Tuiali of Canberra, SG ball.
Melrose. Davies linking up. Here's the fullback. Met strongly. McEwen Welsh there. Cousins in at dummy half.
Eden Humphreys, Northern Rivers, Andrew John's Cup, just lined him up there.
Oh, and a very legal, very fair tackle.
This one, blink and you miss it, halfback Curtis Lake.
Oh, Jesus. Where'd the ball go? Did he catch it? Wow, I actually thought it was a tackle. I thought the tackler was the tacklee then. I didn't realise that it was...
I was... As you do, churn through a lot of the clips each week, and I've come across that one. I'm like, what happened there? I go back and look. So I reckon that could be a world first, that Curtis Lakeman's actually, he's the first person in history to do a little chip and do a tackle all within a second.
Yeah, I know. And the other player didn't know what was happening. Like, he's sort of ball coming at him. I've got the ball, I'm tackled.
He probably had a case for being tackled in midair.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was midair tackling and then I got tackled midair.
Yeah. All right, we're about, I think that's all we've got, isn't it? We've covered everything.
Yeah.
Tipping.
Oh, yes.
Winners, premiership winners. Last year, Geoff and I had a crack at tipping our competition winners. From BarTV, we had a crack at, I think it was the 12 rugby league competitions.
I think we did admirable was the word I was thinking of, but I think you did more admirable than I did.
I think we only just scraped through of a pass mark, I believe.
Oh, I think admirable.
Admirable.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this year, we're going to get in early. We're going to have a crack again of all the competitions. So next week's show, we'll put the list up. If you've got your premiership winners from some of the comps that we cover, and we know we'll be back on again this year, Newcastle Rugby League, Brisbane Rugby League, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Northern Rivers Regional Rugby League, Central Coast Rugby League, Ipswich Rugby League, the new boys in town, Illawarra, Group 7, Canberra, New South Wales Cup, And we'll throw in the Peter McDonald Cup and the Group 6 MacArthur comps too, because they're pretty strong comps.
Yeah.
So we'll throw them in too. But if you got your tips of who's going to win all those comps, I don't know, we might have a prize for you at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So,
and even if you've got a tip for one of it, like if you live in Dubbo and you just know a lot of what's going on out there with Peter McDonald Premiership, let us know. I want to know why Orange Hawks are going to win the comp, or Wellington were looking good last year, but we want to know why. We want the receipts, like what's going on out there.
Yeah. So get your thinking caps on, and we'll put some details up next week.
Yeah, nice. Sounds good. Can't wait. I've got to get my thinking cap on now.
All right, as I said, a bit of rain around this week leading into the weekend's footy. Check back on the BarTV Sports throughout the week. Some of those venues and times may change. Fingers crossed, everything stays the same. But from myself, Paul Arandale, and Geoff Stevenson, we'll catch you next week.
Cheers.